welcome to Conversations in Freedom. I'm Samantha Nolan-Smith. I'm really happy to today have with me Sylvia Chierchia. Chierchia.
Close. Not
Chierchia.
bad.
I was telling myself I was going to get that right.
Just say Sylvia Smith. That'll do.
And Sylvia is a financial empowerment mentor who is a really person that I really wanted to speak to, because I think that Sylvia is really unique in the sense that she brings both her extensive background in finances and bookkeeping, but also brings her training as an NLP practitioner and her understanding of human behavior to really give women the full service. And so is looking at both the practical and what's going on mentally, and how are we either blocking our financial freedom or the money that we can potentially be earning. And I really love that you offer both of those services or combine them together, Sylvia. So
thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks.
So let's just have a chat first of all, because we're here to talk essentially about money and freedom. Can you tell us a little bit about your own background? Because I'm really conscious that not everybody gets kind of financial education, let's call it, when they're growing up, and that can be the thing that can really either set you off in a position of being really confident about money or about being really fearful about money.
Yeah, well, I'm an only child, and I have a very strong financial dad who, and my mum had always kind of relied on him to take care of the money. She just wasn't really that in tune with it and didn't really worry too much about where it was going and how it was coming and all that kind of thing. So he managed all the finances of our household. And because I was, I don't know, the only child, he was like, right, you're going to be educated when it comes to money, and I'm going to teach you how to save, and I'm going to teach you how to, invest and do all that kind of stuff. So from a young age, I remember him telling me to save money, to when I first got a job, what to do, how much to put aside and all that kind of stuff. So I just got an education in finance really early on. And, as a kid, you just think everybody does that. But it's not the case. And a lot of people's parents either don't speak of money, they have a poor relationship with it themselves. Some people come from a house where a divorce was a result of money. So there's a lot that goes on, in people's lives that can affect them later on. So I was just lucky enough to just, have a dad who was, wanting to educate me, and I think it's a great thing, and I now try and pass that on to my children as well.
Mm. And so taking that experience with your dad, obviously money was something then that was to be embraced, to be managed, to be engaged with, rather than sort of what a lot I think do, which is to kind of hope it just comes in and kind of ignore it, or not look at the books, or just cross your fingers and kind of close your eyes. And I know that you say one of the things that you're really passionate about is pulling women's head out of the sand.
Yes, unburying their heads. Yes, totally. I just think that even just awareness and having a look and really seeing what's going on can change things dramatically. And that's just with any aspect of life, I think. It's the same with health. People don't want to step on the scales because they don't want to look, but you really know that the situation's not great. And, it's not going to get better by ignoring it. And it's the same with finance. Just, it can be painful, but it's got to be done. You've got to get real. You've got to look. And that's when change starts to happen.
So tell me about that. You started out as a bookkeeper, and then you moved into looking at money blocks and looking at issues around money mindset with particularly female entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. What led you to doing that?
So when I was doing bookkeeping work, and when I was coming across women who very often would come to me and they would say, oh, my books are in a mess, I need a bookkeeper. And then very quickly on in the conversation, we'd figure out that, in fact, a bookkeeper is not really what they need. They needed someone to help them with their relationship with money. And,
empower them to kind of get a handle on it, not just to pass it off to someone else, for someone else to take care of it.
And what were you finding or what are you still finding are some of the biggest money blocks that people have, or some of their stories? I love to talk about the stories that we carry around. What are some of the stories that you're really finding are coming up again and again?
Daily I hear, I'm not good with money. I hear it every single day. I'm not good with money. Never have been, don't know what I'm doing, things are all over the place. And, sometimes it's true. Sometimes there's no evidence of it whatsoever. It's just something that they're saying to themselves over and over again. And oftentimes when you say something over and over again, it becomes true anyway.
Yeah.
So even if it wasn't true to start off with, it soon becomes that way.
It's funny how that language of I'm not good with money, it's almost the way that we talk about, we assume some kind of natural talent for it, in the way we might say, I'm not good at cricket, or I'm not good at, swimming.
Yeah.
And yet that's an odd kind of thing to think about money, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's not a skill that you're born with.
Yeah.
It's not in your DNA. It's just something that you learn how to do. And it's often, it's even just when people say they're not good with money, it's just because they don't want to do it, or they have some resistance around it. And for whatever reason, and usually that's all uncovered during financial coaching anyway, but there's an enormous resistance around wanting to sit down and do financials. And if they keep saying that to themselves, if that same mantra of I'm not good with money, this is not my thing, I'm too creative, I'm right brain, not left brain, there's 101 excuses, but really it just comes down to resistance and not wanting to face reality. So that's what
and
it is.
I think that's when we start to link back to childhood experiences and parents who perhaps also had similar stories about we're not good with money, or there wasn't the discussion around the table around how to manage money. And so the story around I'm not good with money is actually, I just haven't been taught how to work with it and be intimate with it.
Yeah, and not be scared of it. It's like it's its own entity. And it's, going to come and bite you if you, actually start to look at it or manage it. And it's really not. It's just a form of energy. It's a form of exchange. It's just basically accounting or bookkeeping is really simple. It's just like ins and outs. It's not terribly complicated, but I think people can make it seem a lot more complicated and scary than what it is.